Hey, good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome in. It is Wednesday here with Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. I'm here in Studio B of Network Control. Barry in,
Yeah.
Homewood Suites, I believe you said.
No, Springwood Suites. Spring Hill Suites. Spring Hill Suites.
Yes, there we go.
In Blacksburg, Virginia, where tonight the Troy Trojans take on the Virginia Tech Hokies this evening. 5:00 Central Time in the middle of the 7-game road trip for Troy. And I'm looking forward to that as well. I'll be back here again tomorrow, and then on Friday, I'll be in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Wow.
And then we're heading back sometime. Monday, we'll be back in about 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So I'll be a little punchy on Monday, but ready to go.
Harrisburg. I don't know if I'm familiar with that city. I know where Blacksburg.
Harrisonburg, yep. It's yeah. I've been there, done the show from there once before for basketball. Back there again, 2 times.
What school's in Harrisburg?
Harrisonburg. It's James Madison.
James Madison.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so there we have it. Speaking of Troy, their head football coach is going to join us here in about 10 minutes, Gerad Parker, or maybe 13 minutes or so, looking at the clock. So looking forward to talking to the Troy head football coach. Gurn Jr. is going to get him in the green room here before too long, because the Trojans are going through spring football, as is Auburn and Alabama. Spring football maybe not as the hottest of topics as it has been in years past, maybe because the 8A games are not the same as they have been. Basketball has been so popular. The transfer portal certainly has been a big part. Fans maybe not familiar with the roster as they used to be, a combination of things. But I don't know, maybe as these springs start winding down, people will focus in on them a little more.
Couple of things I've got a question about. Number 2 already. Yeah, Chris the Bammer has answered the question just as I bring it up. Episode 157 on the show. Goodness gracious, John. It's flowers on the wall. And the Otis says, it's was it the Oak Ridge Boys or the Stadler Brothers? I want to say it's the Stadler Brothers.
The Stadler Brothers. I think it was the Stadler Brothers.
It was country music, counting flowers on the wall. Yeah. That don't bother me at all.
Forgot about those Stadler Brothers.
Playing solitaire at home with a deck of 51.
Definitely wasn't Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers.
Gatlin Brothers. My favorite line: smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo, and I don't tell me what I'm. Yeah, that's one of my favorite country songs.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Stadler Brothers. Great to have Stadler Brothers. Gurn Jr. showing a little bit of his musical range here with that one. Also, this is a throwback, and I like it when old things are still usable and everything. John and I have told you before, the only reason we know of why anybody had ever used a fax machine in the past 15, 20 years was what? National Signing Day, right?
Oh, exactly.
It's, people would, you'd have athletic departments that have all this really newfangled stuff, and over in the corner, they have a fax machine so the people could send in their faxes of their letters of intent. Also, today, yesterday, let's see, today's Wednesday. Didn't do it Monday because of the rain. Did it yesterday, did it today. If it wasn't for the practice rounds at Augusta National, would anybody even have a camera anymore? I mean,
that's the only time that's the only time you can take a camera. A cell phone is during the practice rounds. Yeah.
You cannot bring a cell phone. 0 cell phones, but they will permit you to bring a camera. So there's a piece at Yahoo Sports about people who are bringing out, their Canon Vixia or their Instamatic little disposable phone, or one they got. There's one lady who said, we bought our camera for the birth of our child, and we've used it 5 times in the last 11 years. So you'll see people out there with these old cameras.
Yep.
And they're out there snapping pictures.
And
but they can't take a phone call from anybody.
Yeah, and
the cameras are out there in the parking lot.
It's probably been 10 years since I've been to Augusta. But I vividly recall down around the concession areas, around where the restroom areas are, they would have a bank of payphones. And the only you could, put your quarter in there and make a call or whatnot, but the phones would not ring. You could not call into that payphone. There would be a light above it, and it would blink if the phone was ringing. Now, I don't know why anybody would ever call a phone at Augusta, but I guess they had that feature. But if you had to make a phone call, there was a bank of kind of like in airports back in the day. There'd always be these wall of payphones. You don't see those in airports anymore, and they had those at Augusta. They had phone booth banks, if you will, probably 8 to 10 phones, probably on both sides on the opening 9 and the closing 9. And that was the only way you could communicate, because there again, cell phones weren't that big of a deal back then. But they don't want people filming, talking, getting crazy with cell phones. And after the practice rounds, no more cameras.
Nothing. That's what my question was. The cameras are only available for the practice rounds, which the last one is today, obviously, before the Masters gets underway tomorrow.
Par 3 contest later today. I believe ESPN will be broadcasting that. Champions dinner last night. Saw a photo of the group gathered there. I've always said I'd love to be a fly on the wall during the Champions dinner at Augusta to hear what the conversation is all about. Very interesting tradition there for all the past champions that come to the dinner, and only the chairman of Augusta. He's the only member that can come to the Champions dinner. No other members are invited, just the chairman and the past champions. Yep.
Wait a minute. You had like Barack. Was he a member?
I don't think. Let's take for
presidents, guys.
Condoleezza Rice. She's a member. She's not at the Champions. She's not at the Champions dinner. Eli Manning, a new member at Augusta, can't go. Brother Peyton, a member of Augusta, can't make it.
Dude,
not invited.
So I'm asking myself, why am I even a member? Just so I can play twice a year, or
hobnobbing.
If you can't hang out with that,
Well, I'm sure they have gatherings throughout the week that they get together.
I don't like, that one thing I do enjoy about Augusta, and I've been outside Augusta before. But it's kind of their homage to history. You can kind of feel the history when you're watching it. Now, some of it's that metaphysical stuff that John's talking about the hallowed, whatever it is, somebody's bridge, or the crow's nest here, or something. It's like it's mystical, and you summon the. You
can feel Bobby Jones.
Forefathers.
They're in the woods there at Amen Corner as you turn around the 13th hole there.
It's the mystical stuff about, but I kind of like the way they do pay attention to the historical aspects of it. $1.50 pimento cheese sandwich, even though I hate pimento cheese. No cell phones there.
None of this scanning your tickets. There again, now tickets are on your cell phone. You just scan it. Not at the Masters. You still get a ticket, a badge, as they call them, that you wear. None of this scanning your phone business.
So wait a minute. You don't have to hand them a physical ticket. You just have a badge, and if you have the badge on, you can walk in?
Yeah, what they'll do is they'll scan your badge to make sure that it's legit, because there have been some counterfeit issues.
That's what immediately I was wondering.
In the past. But none of this, show me your phone, let's scan your ticket.
Okay.
It is a physical, so you can collect your badges over the years, kind of like people used to collect football tickets, which I kind of miss to some degree. The ticket stubs that they let you keep after they tore your ticket. But no paper or no electronic tickets like we see today.
Yeah.
But these guys that are members, they'll be there all week. I'm sure they can take time off from their industry and their Fortune 500 company. They got a lot of other people running that for them. And they hang around I don't hang around, but they're there at Augusta National in their green jacket. And they're all, have duties that they're assigned throughout the week to help the tournament run as efficiently as it does. And you'll see them out and about. They'll be out on the course, and you'll see these guys with green jackets all over the place. And you go, wow, hey, there's a member. Hey, well, there's a member over there.
So those guys are working the tournament, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Now, they're not cutting grass. They're not
I know that. Yeah,
they're not raking bunkers. But they are there, just to.
Hey, don't go there. Don't touch the azaleas,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Spalding, you're playing golf today.
Yeah, put some weight on. Ringo, play something hot. I don't know.
But they're there, and they have their green jackets on. And they got, usually have a little golf hat on of some sort, and they got a tie. They're not wearing it just like a sport coat with an open collar. They got a tie on. And, very, very, very tradition. Very tradition rich. Kind of like rolling a street corner after a big victory.
It's not like that at all. It's totally different from that, as a matter of fact. But I understand where you're going.
Wonder what they did with all that surplus toilet paper they were going to use last weekend.
They just didn't buy it. I mean, you don't stockpile it. You don't have like a closet of Toomer's Corner toilet paper that you're just waiting for. You go like the night of, grab a couple rolls. If you've got 1,000 people there, everybody's got a roll. That's 1,000 rolls. That's a lot of it out there. There's no stockpiling.
Did they roll Toomer's Corner after Auburn took the baseball series against Alabama this past weekend?
That's a good question. I doubt it. I hope not. I'll say that. I'll hope not. Auburn had a big win on the road in baseball yesterday at Georgia Tech.
Nice.
Overcame a late deficit and won it. Don't think that they rolled.
Is the Georgia Tech baseball facility near Grant Field?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's funny because, of course, Georgia Tech is right downtown. I mean, you got skyscrapers all around. I've done games at Georgia Tech, and everything is packed in on itself. You hit a foul ball at Georgia Tech, and it'll hit the facing of the Pie Cap House across the street. Over on the left side, I saw one of the Troy players hit a home run. So far, it hit the indoor practice facility for Georgia Tech football. On the other side of that practice facility is Grant Field, and next to that is what I think is Alexander Coliseum or whatever like that. It is all right there, jam up next to each other. So, yeah.
I will say this. Somebody mentioned this. Georgia Tech has, even though they're right there adjacent to I-85 and all these skyscrapers, they've done a pretty good job of trying to make it as much of a college feel as they can in downtown. I mean, as you ride through Georgia Tech, you kind of go, wow, man, is downtown Atlanta like right there? Which it is, but you just don't really notice it as much as you would think.
Yeah.
So they have done a good job with that. Casino Greg lets us know what Auburn and Alabama did in baseball last night. Barry, I spoke to Casino Greg yesterday. He's just over the moon excited about winning the tournament bracket challenge that we had here with Longshore and McKnight. So his voucher is in the mail. He should be receiving it today or tomorrow. And, man, Casino Greg just couldn't thank us enough for a great contest, along with so many other people that got in. We really appreciate that. But, yeah, Greg, man, he wanted me to say thank you to everybody involved.
Yep. Alabama baseball beat Southern Miss, which is a big deal. Southern Miss is number 24 in the country.
Oh, wow.
Alabama wins at 10-6. As we mentioned, Auburn, a late winner over Georgia Tech, 9-8 in Atlanta at Ross Chandler Stadium up there.
That would have been a game I would have liked. 9-8, a lot of action, a lot of
scoring late.
Yeah.
Alabama will host Mississippi State this weekend. Mississippi State 3-9 in the SEC.
Ooh.
Auburn will host LSU in Plainsman Park. LSU is number 3 in the country. They are 31-3 this year. Number 3 in the country.
That dumb.
Show me something today, Auburn. Well, so we've got coming up Gerad Parker. He's the head coach of the Troy Trojans. We'll check in with him in a moment in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Spring into savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, America's best-selling truck, the F-150. You can get every new 2024 at 2.9% APR for 72 months. How about an F-150 Lightning up to $15,000 off plus 0% for 75 months? The ever-popular Ford Bronco Sport as low as $25,990. The Ford Explorer, it started the SUV craze. An all-wheel drive with leather as low as $33,990. That's up to $8,000 off. $15,000 off Ford Expeditions. And what about the Ford Mustang? Starting as low as $29,990. And the all-new Ford Mavericks starting as low as $23,990 and no payment for 90 days. And don't forget about Stivers Ford's mobile service. Get serviced at your home or work anywhere near the river region. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Budweiser flavor. A refreshing alcohol-free brew that tastes like the real thing. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, about 16 minutes past the hour here on a Wednesday. And as mentioned, Troy head football coach Gerad Parker joining us here today on the program. Spring football underway. Coach, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Doing well. I'm up here in Blacksburg, Virginia, trying to get Skylar Meade a victory tonight against Virginia Tech, Coach. Appreciate you joining us.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk about doing it. You're getting into for T-Day on Saturday, wrapping up your second spring practice. How different has this second set of practices for you been than the first one last year?
Well, I mean, it would not be fair to not say it's been drastically different. I mean, I just think you name it, from everything about how we set up and how we move and how the practices are run to our setups of knowing who we are as a staff better and our players, and of course, the changes to our roster, and just there's something to be said about doing it. So we certainly feel different about where we're at right now as we approach our last week of spring camp, and we should. And it's been good to get through the first year and call it year two and have notes about how we want to practice, why we want to do what we're doing, and we feel better about where we are right now because of it.
You know, Coach, in thinking about the interview and knowing we were having you on today, I was thinking about that same question that Barry just asked you, because we've talked a lot about it with Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. I got to think that getting that first year under your belt, I mean, now you're more familiar. Your players are more familiar with your style, your scheme, your schedule, what you expect. So, yeah, I think year two is a big step compared to that first year when you first got here trying to get everything put together.
Well, it is. I think there's so many other things to solve or not know that you need to solve in year one about things about a place, the people of the place, and all that. I think, to be fair, so some of the stuff you just don't know till you do it. And then I would say, year two better be different, right? We're in a profession where expectations are high. And I also wake up every morning knowing that, hey, year two better be different. And we have an understanding of that. And that's there's been an urgency about our building to make sure it is. So both are fair.
What has the tone been? We understand now, since when you first got started as a player and as a young coach, spring practice just looked a lot different. The approach was a lot different. What have you, in a general sense, tried to achieve in spring this year?
Well, it has in many ways. I would agree with you, but there's still 15 practices. We've still been extremely physical. You could argue that we do practice smarter and better now, right? We've paid attention to some things about how your roster needs to look and then what you need to do and physicality and tackling and things at times. Our space between practices is every other day or 2-day breaks, depending on the Saturday scrimmage. So you're able to have more time to recover, to get out there and put time on feet. You know, we've been out there long enough to survive what practices would look like or games would look like. So I think in many ways we've just improved some efficiencies of practice. And then for us, as simple as it may sound, and I'm not trying to give you a tagline, like it's very easy, right? When you talk to some guys that I trust in this profession, as we were going through our struggles last year, it's like, what are you doing? They would ask me the question, what's going on the most is creating losing. So you have to stop the things that are making you lose before you can ever win games. So it's very simple, right? Like come back in January, how do we get better? So our whole discussions about this roster, this semester, and what we're going to do is I've called it the path to better. You know, how do we just get better? How do we improve? Don't worry about where you think you should be. Don't worry about how many wins we need to have or hope to have. If we just improve how we coach our players and we improve how we practice and our players do the same, we're better. And the residual effects of that and the stacking days of that will come together by the end of August, and we'll see where we're at.
Coach, was there a position group in particular you're looking for improvement in this spring?
It's a good question. And I'll say this, I'll go on both sides. I think for us on defense, we have to make a drastic improvement. We know we do, right? And the back end of how our corner safeties and DBs as a whole play the football has to improve and had to improve. So we attacked that in recruiting and acquisitions, and we attacked that in how we practiced and those things. And we made big steps there. So that was a big push for us, among many other things. Tackle for lost plays, the ability to rush the pass. I could go on and on. But as a whole, that you would start back there to say, hey, we had to make a drastic step there. And we believe we're on our way to that. On offense, I think for where we're at and what we lost, the wide receiver position and making sure our O-line is more consistent earlier in the year was critical. So, again, we attacked that in how we recruited, and now we've attacked it in how we practice. So those two areas you would mention first to give you a real answer on both sides of the ball.
Last year, you did not have a quarterback who had ever started a game at Troy University. This spring, you've got 3. Tell us a little bit about the quarterback room, how healthy everybody is, and how you've worked them.
Yep. It's, again, the most impactful position on the field, as we all know. And to have a healthy Goose Crowder has certainly paid huge dividends for us this spring, who's taken a huge step as a player and a leader. Matthew Caldwell's won games in the Sun Belt now and is carrying himself and practicing in such a way that you can feel that. He has real confidence and just has grown as a leader as well. Very pleased with where he is. And Tucker Kilcrease, which you mentioned as well, is a guy that's played reps in the league, that's still learning to play the position as a young player. You know, so those 3 guys have played for us. They have more confidence now. But as Goose comes back healthy, we certainly are pleased with where he is this spring.
Coach, there's been a lot of discussion around the country about the way spring football is conducted, particularly spring football games, you know, just kind of getting away from the game type because, you know, other schools are looking at what you got. What are your thoughts about that? What do you think the future will be for Troy when it comes to spring games?
Yeah, I know it's a big topic. I told somebody this, and I'll answer it honestly. I don't have a strong opinion about playing another football team in the spring. I really don't. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but I don't have a strong position to say that it's a good idea. I think then you play somebody else, and then all the other coaches that are all connected in this profession call them and say, hey, how'd they look? What do their tackles look like? And then they scout against you. So I'm probably good. I will say, too, that I think it's fair to say there are no secrets anymore, right? There's a lot of things going in the undercurrent of things and phone calls and things that are happening behind closed doors right now that we don't know about or can assume are happening. So there's not much to hide anymore. We want to put our guys out there and say, hey, go play football, play a Troy brand of football. And if that's good enough on Saturday, so be it. We'll shake hands. And if it's not, we're going to go fix it and be better. So I'm not much on worrying about it all. I think for us, for T-Day, it's a celebration of our family. We got a ton of families coming in of our players. I want to meet them, spend more time with them, and celebrate our great fan base and just move forward serving them and not really worry about if somebody sees who our running back is or who our new backer is or who a corner is. Let's just go play. We're trying to just prepare to be better.
Hey, what will T-Day itself look like? Will there be scrimmage aspects at all?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to go. I want our fan base to see us throw the football a little bit and have some fun. I think the fans like seeing the ball go up in the air. So we'll do a 7-on-7 segment and some one-on-ones to let people see some skill players move about and run and catch and cover. And then in the second quarter, we'll play some real football for our fans in a red zone segment that we call Race to 18, which is a really cool way to keep score that allows the defense to have a real chance at winning the drill. And then in the third quarter, we're going to let some of our young players get out there and play too. So we're going to have 2 quarters or 2 segments where we'll really play and play some combined football. And then the fourth quarter, we'll have some fun in our kicking game. So it'll start with some stuff to maybe get the fans up and moving and paying attention, end with some kicking competitions and some fun. And in the middle, we'll do some real football looks to where people get to see some of that as well.
It all leads up to the start of the season, which is McNeese State on the at the end of August. Have you appraised the schedule yet? The challenges there. Do you like it? Do you like the way it falls, Coach?
I do. I mean, we have 11 Saturday games for the first time in a while, I've been told.
Yeah.
We play our biggest rival in South Alabama at home on a Saturday and the first time in a long time as well. And it's it's going to be our Sun Belt Conference opener at home. We play 4 non-conference games to start the year, and we have a bye. We play 5 league games. Every one of those league games, all 5 in a row, are the 5 teams we lost to last year. I think that's on purpose. And then we have another bye, and then we have 3 games in conference to finish the year. So I think it's all done on purpose, and this has a good plan. I love the 2 byes in between. I love that it's set up the right way. I really like our schedule and how it sets up for us to travel. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it certainly sounds that way. No doubt. We all excited as well, Coach.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask, I love to ask coaches this. When there again, we talked about you're a year in, going into year 2, so you've had some time to settle in and whatnot, and be in the Troy area and in the Deep South. What have you found that you like about it? Is there a restaurant you like that you found, or something you do for maybe a little away time that you just weren't used to in your former venue?
Well, another good question. I would say this: we love Troy. I don't, everybody I spoke to about this job and this place before taking this job or being there, everybody spoke passionately about the people, the fan base, the job, and what a special place it was. And they were right. And I mean that. I think it's been a great place for us to move, live, and me be a father and husband and the head football coach here. As far as a place to eat, we probably just floated around with 4 kids and all the park. The best place we've learned to be is our park and rec. The Troy Park and Rec has been one of those places that has allowed us to come over and do swim, volleyball, basketball, baseball, and softball. And what a great job all of that place does. So we went over there a ton, but you got to make sure Moe's has come into Troy, Alabama, and taken over. Yeah. We love going over to Moe's. Baumhauer's, of course, and Half Shell has its name for itself. And then for me personally, I like to go down on the square and go to places like B. Graves and the Corner and all those places to eat as well. So there'd be too many to mention, but we just went to Mama Goldberg's and got a killer sandwich yesterday. My wife. So we do it all.
Yeah, but I can't remember the last time I've been to Moe's where I haven't seen Sean and Elizabeth Reagan out there. They hit it hard with their family. It begins on Saturday, 2:00, T-Day, spring game of the Vet. We'll go over all of the different things involved in it, as well as they put a wrapper on spring football at Troy in year 2 under Coach Gerad Parker. Final quick thought here. The fans, when they leave T-Day on Saturday, what do you hope the vibe is? What do you hope the insight is from the fans over what they've seen and experienced?
Well, again, I hope that they walk away with a smile and encouragement about how our team interacts with our fans and our families, our fan base, and just enjoy a pretty sunny day in Troy. And then walk away and remember what this feels like going into the summer next fall. Be encouraged. Be re-energized about year 2 for this football team, for our staff and players. They're doing their jobs and doing them well, and that shows promise. I'll do my job. We worked extremely hard the entire year last year to build a culture here and retain the players we need to keep here and our staff that has stayed here. And we've worked really hard at it. So be encouraged. Make sure that you walk away from that understanding that next fall will be better, and that's what we're working on. And I look forward to seeing everybody out as we move forward.
Coach, outstanding. We always appreciate your time. Know you're extremely busy, a lot going on this spring, and just a couple of minutes of your time. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you all.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thanks. Have a good day.
You all.
Thank you so much.
Gerad Parker of the Troy Trojans. Again, T-Day. It actually begins, all the stuff begins at 11 a.m. on Saturday with the Lunch with Legends in the Stadium Club. TroyTrojans.com/tickets. The youth camp is at noon at the Vet. The yard sale is at 1 o'clock. The game itself is at 2 with a lot of different opportunities. At halftime, they call it the Trojan Triple Threat, 3 minutes to win it. One fan will have a chance to win 3 lifetime season tickets, but they've got to complete 3 challenges. They've got to answer 3 Troy football trivia questions. They've got to complete 3 10-yard passes or have a player complete 3 30-yard passes to them, and then kick 3 extra points or have a player hit 3 30-yard field goals as well. Then you get a 3 lifetime season tickets. Pretty cool. Appreciate Coach Parker being in. I'm looking forward to it as well, and kind of get the vibe of spring football. You know, A-Day at Auburn, A-Day at Alabama's coming up as well. So we're getting to that point. Bob from Pike Road is checked in, so we've got football on our mind as well. He appears.
Yeah, boy.
Coach Parker appears on our City of Montgomery guest hotline as we get already 1/4 of the way into the show. We're just getting ready here. John is in Studio B. I'm Barry McKnight in Blacksburg, Virginia, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. Their licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 26 minutes to the top of the hour. CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, will join us to kick off hour number 2 today. Also, the Phantoms Daily Dog, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland Topic Wheel. I believe Brian Reynolds from Cambrian Ridge down in Greenville is going to join us in the second half of hour number 2 to talk about the Masters and Augusta National as that gets kicked off tomorrow. Round 1 action slated for early tomorrow morning. I'm wondering who the celebratory first guys will be on number 1 tee to kick the tournament off. Is Nicholas coming back? I mean, Gary Player usually is there. He's fit. He's in good shape. I don't know if Jackson great enough. I don't know if Jack's in bad shape, but Jack's no spring chicken. I know he's done it in years past. Be interesting to see who tees off for the ceremonial first drive down the first fairway tomorrow.
Gary Player is 89 years old. And like John said, he's kind of a physical fitness fanatic out there and has always been.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go ahead and say I thought Gary Player was dead. I was sure he had died. No longer with us. Dead, kaput, pushing up daisies, bought the farm. Okay. He's 89 years old. He's still with us. Does that mean anything to anybody? Not that Gary Player's with us, but having those old guys go up and take an arthritic swing and I remember when the Golden Bear used to hit him, 9 miles, and now look at him. He can barely dribble one off the tee.
I'm sure, Bear, there's probably a group of people that every year they're there. That's their deal. We got to go see this. Other people, I think it's, hey, I saw it once, been there, done that. I've never been there at that time of day. I don't want to I'm not a dew sweeper. I don't like playing golf early in the morning, much less watch it.
Yeah.
So I see the replays on TV. I mean, I'm thinking, when is Nick Faldo going to maybe do it? Obviously, he's won multiple Masters.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's not old enough. I hate to put it that way, but, they certainly have got to come in with a new group as these other ones kind of fade out. I mean, obviously, Arnold Palmer did it forever.
Faldo's 67.
Yeah.
Not old enough? I like that.
I guess you don't want guys that can really bomb it out there. You just want guys that
No, you do. You don't. Gosh, it used to be. It used to always be Arnie and Jack.
Yeah.
And
Tom
Gary.
Watson. I think Tom Watson's done it several times. Maybe he'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah,
Watson. I think Watson. It was Watson, Gary Player, and Nicholas Nat last year, if I'm not mistaken. Ceremonial starter.
Bless his heart. Way off sides. Jeff asked a point of order. He said, "Wasn't it Sam Snead that hit that ceremonial tee shot like 100 yards out of bounds and hit a fan?"
I don't know, Jeff. I've never heard that one. I've just always been kind of cringing, going, "God, I hope this guy doesn't top it." I mean, No,
it's what the thing that always kills me is it's not necessarily just the Masters, but you got the guy hitting the tee shot, not that tee shot, but any tee shot, say at a major or whatever, and you got those fans lined up down that little. I'm thinking, your boy Barry ain't gonna do that. Ain't gonna. Yeah, I am never doing that. At the whatever they call it now, the thing in Birmingham, the Regions Pro-Am or whatever. Used to have Charles Barkley out there.
Oh, dangerous.
There ain't no way.
Dangerous.
Am I right in remembering that Stan White hit somebody on a tee shot one time at one of those Pro-Am deals out there? I ain't doing that. What do you got? You got to be kidding me. Ain't no way. That thing hits you upside the head at whatever the exit velocity is, 150. You're going to die.
I miss Stan hitting me on the radio with some of his excellent commentary and opinions about Auburn football. That's what I miss.
That's what John can't get enough of anymore.
You're talking about some shots. Woo! Yeah. Those were great. Yeah, you think about 18 at Augusta National. They got a camera behind the tee box, and it's Sunday. You got a one-shot lead, and you got to hold on to it. And this gauntlet of patrons that are lining that tee box. As you have to tee it off and keep it in play. You don't want to hit it in the bunker. I mean, I've seen guys. I remember Ian Woosnan hit it so far left, he actually had a better angle back to the hole. And other players have tried to do that as well. But that'll be interesting to see who tees off with the ceremonial first tee shot today. Ceremonial starters. Thanks, Bob. I couldn't think of the exact term, but yes, ceremonial starters there at Augusta National.
Bob also says this, and I agree with this. Bob from Pike Row says, I'm not the greatest Rory fan, but if he doesn't win it this year, he may never win at Augusta. I got to go along with that. He's playing better golf, more consistent golf now than he has in a long time. And if it ain't this year, when's it going to be? You know?
Well, I'm going to give you a hint. Tomorrow when I re-release my Masters winner, and I'm just waiting for Robbie from Greenville to see if he's going to jump the route on me, because I released this information the Friday before Memorial Day of 2024. Look, Barry, I'm already putting together my Memorial Day top list as well for predictions over the next 12 months. I've already got a few on the list.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yep. I made that announcement back then. I'm sticking with it. It is not Rory McIlroy. I will give you give you that one. It is not Rory McIlroy. DeChambeau, he's one too. I think he's kind of primed. Somebody asked me, who did daughter Lucy pick for the Masters? I asked her last night. She does have Scheffler. I went, wow, how about going out on a limb there? I mean, she goes, well, I really like him. I said, okay, all right.
Well,
Scotty Scheffler's who she's picking.
Plus, she's an Alabama fan, so she's kind of predisposed towards picking the traditional favorite, I guess. My buddy Neil Armstrong, love that guy. He texts me. He says, I saw John's favorite, Charles Cootie, at the champion dinner photo. John is always making fun that he kept taking up a competitive spot for so long at an old age. Charles Cootie, he did win the Masters.
He did
win the Masters, right?
And I don't know what else he won.
Yeah, that may have been it. He's like Danny Willett, right? Am I right? Danny Willett, former UAB golfer. He won the Masters, and he may never have won, the Double Springs Muni or anything.
Yeah.
Charles Cootie won the 1971 Masters. 1971.
How about that?
That is 29. That is 54 years ago. And
I mean, it's
I'm
like
reading
Larry
here.
Mize, with that chip
Sandy
in. I
Lyle.
mean, what else did he ever win? Sandy Lyle, yeah. I mean, you got a lot of that kind of crowd that, like Sergio Garcia. They're showing all of the Spaniards that have won it. Obviously Seve Ballesteros, Jose Olazabal. And I'm thinking, did he really win that? And I went, yeah, I guess he did. He won in a playoff. Sergio won in a playoff to win his green jacket.
How about that? Yeah. Charles Cootie led the Masters in 1969 with 3 holes left, but finished bogey to tie for 5th. But he won it in 19.
That's a heck of a comeback, Barry. You bogeyed the last 3 holes with a lead. You're talking about choking. You have a hard time sleeping for a while thinking about that at night.
Charles Cootie won 3 events in his career on the PGA Tour. He won 2 regular PGA Tour events early in his career, and then he won the Masters, which is not a PGA event, and he did not win another event.
Yeah. Well, you win the Masters.
His 1971 Masters was the last thing that he won, except maybe the Charles Cootie
Celebrity Invitational.
Something like that. Jeez.
Yeah.
But he won it. Yeah.
He won it. He's at the Champions Dinner. He wears his green jacket when he's at the Champions Dinner. So, yeah. Shifting gears, so I know we're going to talk a lot about the Masters over the next couple of days, but Barry, I saw this, was able to read it. Joseph Goodman in AL.com today has a piece entitled, "Is President Trump Killing Alabama Football?" And it's kind of, it's got some tongue-in-cheek stuff in there. I mean, I really subscribe to all of his theories and philosophies, but I do know the root of it and what this is all about. And it's things that we've talked about on this program many a times. Basically, can Auburn and Alabama keep up? Do they have enough financial wherewithal? Do they have enough boosters to be able to compete with the biggest of big boys? Ohio State, Texas, the Penn States, Georgias of the world. Can they do it? And I know we've talked a lot about it here on the program. Gets into a lot of different aspects about the financial elements of college athletics. He touches on some basketball guys that transferred out. Did they because the money was not there? Probably so.
Yeah.
I think you got to pick and choose what players you really think are going to give you the best opportunity for your team to win. I mean, you can't stockpile like you used to. But I guess what I think I really have kind of gravitated toward is, can they keep up? Greg Byrne is out soliciting money, seems like day in and day out. You don't seem to hear John Cohen doing as much of it as Greg Byrne is doing. Is Jimmy Rain?
There's some. There is some. And he does bring that up about, having to go out and raise money. He says, look, there are schools, the Tide doesn't have as many mega donors as some of the other schools in the SEC. Arkansas has Walmart and Tyson Chicken. Texas and Texas A&M have the old money and the tech billions. The Tide gets by on his diehards. He, quote, there's a lot of them, but if we learned anything from Alabama's failed attempt to build a new basketball arena, there's only so much money to go around.
Definitely.
End quote. Yeah, Auburn's got Jimmy Rain, the wealthiest person in Alabama. He points out the Yellow Fellows of Pine Barren, former attorney with a Harvard education in ownership management. Considering the Trump administration just opened up half of the national forests in the United States for logging, I'd say that Auburn football and Jimmy Rain are in a pretty good situation. I'm not rooting for deforestation per se, but if it means a couple of natties for the Tigers, well, trees grow back, right? Joseph, I remember a couple that didn't, to be honest with you. I don't know if that was gigging the obs or not, but I know a couple of trees that were injured, fatally.
Now, Alabama has some boosters that are very well off. Obviously not like Jimmy Rain, who I believe was and still might be in the Fortune 500 at one time. I know we was listed wealthiest individual in the state of Alabama. That has kind of moved around and fluctuated over the years, but believe he takes that top spot now. But that doesn't say that Alabama doesn't have a lot of wealthy boosters. I just wonder if they're going to continue to fund this NIL. I think this House versus the NCAA thing is very important, that $20.5 million cap, so to speak. But you're still going to have programs that can raise and get more money for what they need. And they want to win. And in a state like Alabama, is there enough to go around? Can they compete like they did during the Saban era? Can they, there again, you can't stack talent. These guys want to go off and play. Let's face it, one of the three quarterbacks at Alabama are not going to be on the roster this time next year. I mean, I've said for the last 2 or 3 seasons, and it's getting more and more like that. I mean, you're seeing it at other position groups. Stacking talent and depth, those days are over. Certainly they're over like they were when Saban was around.
Well, you look at Auburn. Every quarterback who was on the quarterback room last year, can I name Peyton Thorne, Hank Brown, Holden Gariner, Walker White? They were the top 4 on the depth chart last year, and a single one of them at Auburn this year. Is that the good news? Well, anyway, they're all gone, and you better learn the new ones. The other ones are out there trying to develop elsewhere.
I just
and
wonder,
a lot of it
how
is money.
The fan base is going to acclimate themselves to this new style of college athletics. They seem to be able to handle it in basketball because there's not as many players.
Right.
I guess it's easier to get a difference maker or a couple of them in basketball. But in football, it's a totally different animal. So I wonder how the fan base is going to adapt to that. You also mentioned something we've talked about a lot, going to the game or watching it on TV. Are people going to say, look, man, you're bleeding me dry. I have no more money. You're asking for this, you're asking for that. Now I got to buy tickets that cost this and everything else that goes into it that we've talked about 100 times. It is an effort to go to a college football game. You got to plan it. You got to pay for it. You got to carve out a bunch of time to go, particularly if you're going to Tuscaloosa from Mobile, Montgomery, or Huntsville, it's an all-day affair.
It is.
Birmingham, it's kind of like Auburn to Montgomery. It's not that big. It's not that big of a I don't want to say hassle, but not as much involved.
Undertaking, yeah.
But I think athletic directors are scared about the TV. I mean, and I've talked about it. I've been to you and I both have been to and you've got to. I mean, obviously being the voice of Troy, we've been to a lot of sporting events, a ton. Very fortunate to be able to attend so many of them.
Yeah.
If I got to the point in my life where I go, man, that TV sure is a lot more convenient. It's a lot more comfortable, lot of less hassle. Yeah, I got to admit it. It is.
Yeah. And, if you are Auburn fan, for instance, you're not living on Lake Martin, but you're doing all right. And you're looking at the schedule. Baylor on the road, Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M on the road, Vanderbilt on the road. This is a year for Auburn where you have both Georgia and Alabama at home, so you're going to those games, right?
Yeah.
But you're looking otherwise, and you're thinking, gosh, I'd love to go to, I don't know that honey, can we go to both Baylor and Oklahoma? Oh, well, how about Oklahoma and Texas A&M? No. Arkansas and Vanderbilt? We can't go.
I wonder, Barry. The Auburn fan base. I know a couple of people from Montgomery that went to San Antonio. And I heard that Auburn was very well represented in San Antonio. Don't know the numbers. I understand that it seemed like Auburn had more of a fan base than Florida did. Could have been. I don't know. I wasn't there. It looks like Florida had a lot of people at the championship game Monday night. But I wonder, Barry, how many Auburn people would have loved to have gone to San Antonio, but might have gone a couple of years ago when they went to the Final Four, or just said, I can't do it.
Right.
Tickets are expensive. Hotels are expensive. Air travel's expensive. I mean, I've talked to travel companies that told me there just wasn't as much demand as they've had in years past. People driving 12 hours to go see a 2-hour basketball game. I know there were some younger ones, I would say. But I wondered of all those people in the Alamo Dome, were they just a combination of all four of those schools together? Were there people from San Antonio that go just to watch basketball? I don't know, but I got to think some of the sticker shock of going to an event like that hit a lot of people.
Well, as we go to break, let's bear in mind this, and John's right. The cost of going to a game is a lot more. The cost of time is a huge investment. You've got a really, really nice television coverage and HD and all this kind of stuff. Your basketball teams are doing well, so your heart's telling you to go to Atlanta and go to Lexington and go to San Antonio or go to Newark or go to Cleveland or whatever. So, and the payoff on this. Not only are they asking more money from you, back in the day, you'd go to Tigers Unlimited, you'd pay your thing. You'd go to Tide Pride, pay your thing. You're good to go. Now you got Tide Pride. Now you got somebody wanting a little bit of extra money for NIL. You want to know how, you want somebody that's asking you, hey, can you sponsor this particular thing? And meanwhile, for your return, you're getting a new roster every year. You're losing a couple of guys that you don't get a chance to watch develop or anything like that. You don't get that identification with those players because they're only there for a year. So you're paying more money. And for a lot of them, the big money guys, maybe the payoff is less than it used to be whenever you were contributing money.
And I know they don't look at it this way because they want cities to bid on it, and the TV networks are probably, doing what they want to generate more revenue. But when this playoff gets to 16 teams, which I'm holding out, I don't know why they're talking 14, but when it gets to 16 teams, I think it's extremely important for the fans. And I know they don't really care about the fans. They'll tell you they do, but they really don't. But for the fans, having these playoff games, some of them stay on campus. I think that's really important for the fans to be able to go to campus. These teams are hosting games to really get that campus atmosphere. Because, Barry, going to Pasadena and going to Tempe and all these far-off places down to Miami, that kind of wears on you after a while. And I know Alabama fans were spoiled because they were traveling every year.
Every year.
Right, but I think it's kind of caught up to them a little bit. Do I really want to go? I mean, I used to go every year. And I don't know. I mean,
I was younger then, and, all that.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break. CJ Duncan will join us shortly. So we've got plenty still to talk about with him as we go to break to wrap up our first live hour of the show in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Here we are at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our friend, everybody's friend, Mary Ann is with us. Mary Ann, April is a special month, even more special at Marguerite's.
Definitely. Okay, so it's the first of the month, Barry. What's that birthstone?
It's a diamond, right?
Yes. Winner. It's easy to remember because with April comes baseball season, baseball diamond. We've got diamond month here at Marguerite's, and it is a great time. We are having diamond month to really emphasize all the great diamonds we have in stock. We're doing crazy specials on natural as well as lab created diamonds with solitaire specials starting out at, this is crazy to believe, $500 for a lab created diamond solitaire. That's insane. Like a 1 carat inner ring. We have diamond studs, diamond tennis necklaces, tennis bracelets. Everything with our diamonds are going to be unmatched, unparalleled prices. And loose stones, again, maybe because it is baseball season and you're watching all of those games that you need to give a little extra something, or that girlfriend that you've been dating for a while needs to get an engagement ring. Well, now is definitely the time to do it because our loose diamonds are on special.
Yeah, if you are thinking about an engagement, here's a pro tip. That may be Marianne's favorite thing to do at Marguerite's is to help the guys make sure their odds are good with a beautiful diamond for that loved one that they're going to pop the question to, right?
Most definitely. It's great to help. We love helping you. The hardest thing you have to do is walk through the door. Next thing, I mean, honestly, you just say, I need to get engaged, or between the two of us or the rest of these listeners, I can tell when a guy walks through, they kind of just have that look and they're just walking slow and looking around. And I'm like, need an engagement ring? And they just shake their head. I take it from there. Just get some ideas. White gold, yellow gold, diamonds. We have them. Guys, it's not hard. Honestly, just walk through the door. We can help you.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. They have people who would love to help, especially in Diamond Month in April in Marguerite's. Yes. Marianne, as always, it's so great to talk with you. What are the hours of operation?
Sure. We're open 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery. Thanks very much, Marianne. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Okay, back at it, getting close to the top of the hour before CJ Duncan joins us. I guess this gives us a little opportunity. Hey, I think the Braves won last night. At least John from Millbrook tells me that they did.
Let me tell you. I watched my roommate here, my buddy Jack. He's a huge Phillies fan. We were watching that game, and I started paying attention right when Carl Schwarber of the Phillies hit one about 9 miles, and the Phillies had, I think, a 5-3 lead at that time, 5-2, something like that, and that was it. The Braves kept coming back. Phillies bullpen wasn't great. Braves took a lead. Braves win. Come from behind victory. They really started hitting the ball whenever McKnight here was watching them. Braves win it 7-5 is the final score. John from Wetumpka is also right about this. 2-8, baby. 2-8.
2-8. Okay.
We go. Yep.
Do they still have the worst? Do they still have the worst record in all of baseball?
Moving on, the Braves will play again in that Phillies series at home at Truist Park. They'll play again. This will be 6:15 start time for this one tonight.
Now, Barry, I'm looking
to build a winning streak.
Yeah, they are. I'm looking at the complete Major League Baseball schedule.
Yeah,
and believe it or not, I found it. I was able to find this on my own. First game is St. Louis and Pittsburgh at 11:35 this morning.
Yes.
Wow.
In Pittsburgh.
Well, why would you play a game in the morning? I don't get that.
Well, it's 12:35 Pittsburgh time.
Yeah. And 9:35 out on the West Coast.
It's Education Day. You get the kids out there, you
Gimmick.
get some popcorn and all that kind of stuff.
Anything to get to pad the overall attendance numbers. Yeah, you hear that, John?
As a matter of fact, it is Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and there are a lot of afternoon games.
I've noticed
Mets play at noon against the Marlins. Yankees at Detroit at noon. Chicago, the Cubs are hosting the Rangers at 1:20 in an interleague game. 2:30, the Athletics are playing. There are two teams, and Dennis has been wanting to know, there are two teams that are in a state of flux. The Athletics are moving to Vegas.
Yep.
They're building them a $1 billion baseball stadium in Vegas, but it's going to take 2 years. So the Athletics are playing their home games for the next 2 years in Sacramento, or as Jim Rome used to call it, Sacacrapo.
Sacramento, yes.
They're playing them in Sacramento for 2 years at the AAA Park in Sacramento, which has about a 14,000 seat capacity.
Yeah.
And of course, Dennis is asking about the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, the hurricane that came through, Helene, just tore up Tropicana Field. So they're not only are not playing at Tropicana Field, they're having to play in Tampa at the Yankees spring training site, which is Steinbrenner Field, which is okay. That seats about 10,000, which, they were never drawing 10,000 anyway. But it's kind of bad because you've still got the New York Yankees logo plastered on the side of the building and over there by the background and stuff. So the Rays, everybody's talking about building the Rays a new stadium anyway. Tropicana Field is done, and they're bound to be moving.
But you know what? With that small venue, it probably. They probably think, wow, this is kind of nice. I mean, look at this. It looks like we have a lot of people here compared to at the Trop when nobody's there. So maybe that's one. So my point being here.
Yeah.
I'm looking
at a lot of morning, early afternoon games.
Yeah. Is that the reason of all these games? And I'm looking, it looks to be like, 15 games are being played today, maybe?
3,
give or take.
6, 9, 12. They're 15. 15 on the dot.
15 games being played today. Of those 15 games, looking at my Major League Baseball schedule, only 2 of them are on TV. The Yankee-Detroit game on Prime Video and the Braves and Philadelphia Phillies on MLB Network. Do they not show baseball on TV anymore?
Oh, they got them on TV, but it's local TV. It's,
local?
FanDuel, Sports South, and all that. Believe me, they're not breaking into the young and the restless on
Ooh.
CBS or General Hospital or something like that, or Cincinnati and San Francisco. Come on.
I mean, instead of having, World Series of Poker on ESPN2 or European, Australian rules football on FS1, could they not put on Major League Baseball game on?
Now that's a sore subject. Major League Baseball and ESPN now hate each other's guts. Calling each other names, talking about how they never really loved them. They always loved another. It's a fairly ferocious divorce going on.
I'm on ESPN side. Huh.
Yeah, you're going to be on baseball, Major League Baseball.
Hey, our man CJ Duncan is joining us. He's in the green room. He's going to pop up on the screen. There he is on this Wednesday, always joining us. Hey, CJ, thanks for being with us today.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing really well. Surprised at all that the Gators are national champions, CJ?
Not surprised at all. I made 2 brackets, and they were winning in one of them. I had Auburn in one and Florida in the other. So they were the best team, it felt like, toward the end of the season, and finished strong this year. Walter Clayton Jr. put on quite a performance, earned himself a lot of money from what I can see.
I would say so for sure. I wanted to ask you about this, just from your purview as a college athletics participant and as a consumer and everything. Florida becomes the first school in the country now to win 3 basketball championships to go along with 3 football championships. We are known in the South as being football centric, and that's where all the money goes because that's where most of the money is made. But there really is no reason for a well-heeled school not to be good at both sports, right?
I agree. I think you've seen the turn in the last 5 or 6 years where a lot of football schools are heading in that direction, whether it's Alabama, that's Auburn, Arkansas with spending a lot of money on Calipari, Missouri having a pretty solid team and things like that. You have these football schools that are investing into their basketball programs. And really just this region of the country just produces so many athletes. If you can find a way to keep them here, keep them close to their hometowns or play for their home state, I think you're better off and you'll see better teams.
Barry, it's interesting you bring up Florida. I'm trying to do the math. I'm sure you know it or you'll look it up real quick. The last time Kentucky won a national championship in basketball, I know Tubby Smith did it. I believe Calipari did it maybe one of his years.
One
at
time.
Kentucky. But you got to think Kentucky fans are going, whoa, time out. Florida's won 3 national championships in basketball. Well, that's supposed to be us. We're supposed to rule SEC basketball. And to see what Florida's done, as you mentioned, CJ, they want to win, and if you got the money to have a really top-notch program, you see what Florida's been able to do with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and you see it with the coaches that they're hiring too, right? Auburn getting Bruce Pearl, a big-time coaching name, and Tennessee getting Rick Barnes. They're showing you how invested they are and how serious they are about becoming a good basketball program. And Kentucky, they had a pretty decent year, but like you said, it's been a while. Calipari won the one time with the Anthony Davis class, but there was a lot of other great classes behind and before that where they weren't able to get the job done. So I'm sure there's going to be even more pressure on Pope going into next year.
I'm here right now. Troy baseball is playing tonight against Virginia Tech. I'm in Blacksburg, Virginia. And it's a true story. I was yesterday, I was walking into a local store, and they already have Virginia Tech football posters up and out. And I didn't realize this, but I think it's week 2 that Vanderbilt comes to Virginia Tech in football.
Absolutely.
I want to say it ticked me off because they had the old Vanderbilt logo, the one with the star and all of that out there. They need to be a little bit more up to date. But they're kind of looking forward to it and everything. Think they're going to have a good team and all that. Already, everybody's even now with basketball having finished day before yesterday. Everybody's still gearing up for football. What about you?
Yeah, no, Vanderbilt actually has their spring game next weekend. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it, but when spring comes around, and we've talked about this, the spring is more for us fans that aren't playing to get excited about football than it is the guys that are actually out there playing. But that gets me excited. That gets me back in the rhythm of it. It makes me want to invest and do a lot of research on who's on the team, who's coming back, what are our chances next year. And we've got a lot of guys coming back. We've got an older team, and Virginia Tech was a team we beat last year, so they're going to pay very close attention to us coming into their stadium this year. And they're very familiar with us. They got to update that logo. They know better.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, you saw it for a long time on a Saturday in September last year. So
I think that
seems
could
like
be
a little jab at us.
Yeah.
So
I think that could be a motivational tool for the Vanderbilt coaching staff. Look, we beat these guys last year. They're still not giving us any respect. Get them worked up. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
Put that in the locker room. Put it in everybody's locker. Just think about that all summer.
See, I still remember the old Kurt Page days when Vandy had the cursive Vandy on the side of their helmets.
Kurt Page, you're
that's way
no kidding. I remember that guy. That's when Vanderbilt would wear. Was it a white helmet with the gold Vandy script? I mean, they would change their uniforms up a lot, CJ. They'd go white helmet, gold helmet, black jerseys. I mean, they could get kind of crazy. But I do remember the script Vandy on the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I was in school, it was kind of during that era of Nike trying things out, and we were a Nike school. And so we had a ton of different combinations here and there. And then we had this deep water helmet where it from afar just looked like a black helmet. But if you come up close, there was like ocean waves in the helmet. You know how Ole Miss kind of has like that camo look helmet? We had waves for, of course, the Commodore. So
do you have any personal experience or knowledge or anecdotal evidence about how much things like, can I get my number that I want, or what kind of uniforms, who's your uniform provider, and can I spat my shoes, plays in recruiting? Is that really a thing, CJ?
I think the number more than anything. The rest of it, you kind of find out later on. I don't know that guys think to ask that question when it's time to commit, but the number's a big deal for a lot of guys. But it really just depends on the coach and the previous success of that college. A lot of coaches say, I'm not just going to give you anything. You got to come in here and earn it. And a lot of coaches don't want to give freshmen single-digit numbers. But if they know this guy's going to come in and be a playmaker, a difference maker on their team, they may be a little bit more lenient. But I know when I was coming in, Coach Franklin was like, hey, look, I mean, you guys we'll change it before the season, but I got to see something during camp before I just give you these single-digit numbers.
To Barry's question, I can remember talking to some of these recruiting gurus years ago. And one of them in particular told us stories about talking to recruits, and they loved the fact that this team had the Nike swoosh on their jersey, and that really attracted them. This other team had some other company, but that swoosh, woo, man, I really like that. And teams utilized that. They marketed themselves as, hey, we're a Nike school.
Yes. Now, I still think that plays a role. I think that plays a role. I think guys like how it looks, or they've been wearing Nike cleats their whole life. They don't want to switch over to Under Armour or Adidas or whatever it may be. And then what are you comfortable with when you're not on the field? Because you get a lot of gear. It's not just what you wear on the field. It's hoodies. It's sweatpants. It's tennis shoes. It's all those things. It's bags. Do you want to carry around Adidas every day? Do you want to carry around Under Armour or Nike? And I think guys do take that into account. And, if you go to a Nike school, you're more likely to get Jordans as well, right? You get the basketball shoes as well.
Yeah.
So I think guys are thinking about that when they're making their decisions, especially if it's close. It seems petty, but I think guys do think about that.
What was the story of this? Because if anybody out there Googles CJ Duncan Vanderbilt and goes to images at the top of their screen, you're going to see early on you were 19, and then later on you were 5. You got the single-digit number.
Well, at Vanderbilt, I was always 19. 5 was high school.
Okay. All right.
and then 82 with the Cardinals. But I had an opportunity to switch numbers at Vanderbilt, but for some reason I just felt like 19 kept me grounded. That was the number they gave me when I walked in on campus, and
Okay.
I hated the number. But it just kind of reminded me, like, hey, you start at the bottom of the totem pole. Even if you are a starter now, even if you are making a name for yourself, remember, where you started. Just kind of a motivational thing. So I kept 19, and then my brother surprises me, and he goes and wears 19 at Mississippi State as well. So
wow.
It ended up being a cool thing for us.
And we're aging ourselves, CJ. But Barry, I don't remember a lot of single-digit numbers when I first started watching college football in the 70s, mainly early 80s. Quarterbacks were, 10, 11, 12, some number like that. A kicker had a single-digit number. A punter had a single-digit number. But you didn't see quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers with single-digit numbers, back in the 70s.
Yeah, no, and the NFL just changed that, just a handful of years ago, where, they allowed single digit numbers for other positions other than quarterback and special teams. But, receivers had to be 10 through 19 and then 80 through 88 or
89.
something like that, whatever it was. So, that's still very recent. And some of my favorite players, they were all wearing double digits in the NFL. So I felt comfortable and I didn't feel any type of way. I did miss my number 5 from high school for a while there, but I said, you know what, I'm going to just stick with this 19.
Yeah. No, the single-digit numbers are a big deal in every sport. Now,
what do you think about zero, double zero, and zero?
I don't like zero. I never have. I would never choose it myself. But I will say this: if a defensive lineman is wearing it, I automatically think he's the best player on the field. It makes me feel as if he's a little bit more athletic, even if he's not. If he's wearing a single digit, he must be doing something right. But that's just. Yeah, that's just my natural assumption when I see that. If I see a defensive lineman with a single digit, including zero, okay, this may be a guy we may want to put 2 guys on,
We are now, CJ, and this is my last one. We are now in that area of the year where you're starting to see the spring games crop up. Troy's spring game is Saturday. Auburn and Alabama have their spring games within the next 2 weeks. After that, realistically, what can you counsel the fans to realistically expect to see? You know how many of them love to get around the water cooler afterwards and say, well, I really liked the way, his get off the ball, or, what realistically should fans expect to see?
Enjoy being around other fans, the tailgates, enjoy just the whole routine of game day again. I think is the biggest thing. I don't know how much you'll actually get from the game itself, right? And if you do get anything from it, get to the game early, watch warm-ups. I think warm-ups will be more intense during the spring game. That'll just be an extended part of practice. It may be the first 2 series. But after the first 2 series of spring game, they're pulling their guys out. So if you get there late, if you're at the concession stand, you may miss the best part of it. But I would say just enjoy the routine of college football. That's what we all know and love. Tailgates, getting with the boys afterwards, grabbing a beer, doing whatever. That part of it is what you'll get out of it this year. I don't know that you'll actually be able to do any real scouting this year. So.
I did want to circle back before we let you go back to basketball and back to Florida. And I think this could apply to just about any team sport or individual sport for that matter. I'm just curious your thoughts about Florida's path through the tournament. It seems, every game they were behind and they found a way to come back and win. I mean, and some of these wins were late in games and incredible runs with not a lot of time on the clock. As a athlete yourself, just watching what Florida was able to do, never getting rattled and making a way to come back and win the game when it counted at the end.
They're resilient. And I actually watched a few interviews online of Florida because I was thinking the same thing. What's going on here? But to me, what it felt like was Florida had their Tom Brady. They had their Patrick Mahomes. Walter Clayton Jr., the way that his teammates think of him, the way that they believe in him, they just say, hey, guys, let's keep it close. Walter's going to hit a shot. He's going to hit a shot at some point. Let's just keep it close. Let's do this for him. He'll come and save the day. He'll come and close this game for us. And so when you have that level of confidence, you never feel like you're out of the game. You never feel like you're truly behind. You think you've got a closer that they don't have. You have a trump card, and this is what's going to take you over the top. And when you have that much confidence in those close game scenarios, you usually execute better than the other team.
This is a transcendent across all sports, really. That what CJ's talking about. Always great to talk with you. We get great value out of it. Appreciate the time and look forward to next.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good rest of the week. See you next week.
Look forward to it. CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, joining us here today. Of course, you can check us out at Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com. You can watch the show there. Of course, it's a daily wrap-up of what we did on the program in the afternoon at yellowhammernews.com. Check that out. Also available on YouTube, Facebook, X, Spotify, Instagram. And we are all over the place, so make sure you check out Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Yep, still to come on the program, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel. Had some holdovers from yesterday.
Yeah.
And coming up in just a little bit, the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Yeah, it was another close one last night, but in this business, close doesn't count. Yeah.
It's either this or it's that.
Yeah, it is. It's either hot or cold, vanilla, chocolate. There's no middle ground. Also, Brian Reynolds, the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge, will join us sometime this hour as well. I'm thinking about, what time is it? In about 9 or 10 minutes from now. He'll give us his preview of the Masters and who he thinks is going to win the green jacket on Sunday.
Well, lots still to get to. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. Okay, about 24 minutes past the hour here on this Wednesday. The Phantoms Daily Dog is normally revealed during this part of the program. And yeah, close doesn't count. No, it really doesn't. the Atlanta Hawks went down to Orlando to take on the Magic last night, catching 4.5 points. Not enough as the Magic win 119-112 in a game that, to me, was very important for the Hawks to kind of inch up on the Magic, who were just ahead of them in the Eastern Conference standings.
Yep. Had a lot riding on it. Had plenty of motivation.
Yeah.
And then they realized a little bit too late that they absolutely stink defensively.
Yeah, they do.
And it didn't work out for them.
So,
long season.
Yeah, very long season.
Yeah.
So tonight, Barry, this one, well, it might surprise a few people. But, we're not looking for marquee matchups. We're not looking for, games involving teams with players that the fans are familiar with. We're looking for where we find value. Value, I tell you.
Value is a big word with the Phantom. Big word.
We're going to a game tonight, Barry, in the nation's capital.
All
the
right.
nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where the Wizards, formerly known as the Bullets.
Yeah.
I actually like that name better. I'm not much on the Wizards. I'm not a Harry Potter kind of guy.
Well, it used to be the Baltimore Bullets.
Uh-huh.
And then they went to the Washington Bullets.
Uh-huh.
And they don't like bullets because evidently Washington somehow has gotten a reputation as being a high crime city. And that's too violent.
Yeah.
So they became the Wizards.
Yeah. Like the Cleveland Indians had to change their names. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But the Washington Wizards, Barry, are in dead last place in the Eastern Division.
17-62.
17
up
and
62 down.
Yeah. They are hosting the Philadelphia 76ers, who are just 2 spots ahead of them in the Eastern Conference standings.
23 up and 56 down. Why in the world the Phantom would fixate on this absolute flaming, steaming mess of dog poop basketball game is interesting to me.
Well, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked.
Why in the world this game, Phantom? They're both terrible.
Set Philadelphia 6 games better than the Wizards in the standings. They're only 40 games out of first place. The Wizards 46. Barry, if you look to the far right column, and it tells you what Philadelphia has done in terms of a streak and their last 10 games. Can you see that information?
No, you're looking at a different screen than I am.
Okay.
Yes.
In their last 10 games.
Well, are you looking at BetMGM or?
Actually, I'm looking at just the standings at ESPN.com. The NBA standings. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
In their last 10 games, the Philadelphia 76ers 0 and 10.
All right, I see it now. I'm with you now. Okay, 0 and 10.
They are on a 12-game losing streak.
Woo. Well, they're without Joel Embiid anymore. They have shut him down for the year. One of their other guys, whose name doesn't immediately pop into my head, shut down for the rest of the year. So they are, in the words of Tom Petty, free falling.
Free falling.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
And they're not crazy about Elvis.
No.
So, yeah, that's a good 0 and 10. Meanwhile,
lost their, actually, if you could go further, they're 0 and 12 in their last 12. They're on a 12-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And I get it. The Wizards are on a 3-game losing streak, going 2 and 8 in their last 10. But
this game, by the way, one more quick thing. This game is taking place, as John has pointed out, on behalf of the Phantom, is taking place in the nation's capital.
Correct.
Where the Wizards this year have streaked to an 8 and 31 home record.
How about that?
8 and 31 at home. They're actually a game better on the road at a sizzling 9 and 30.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling it tonight. Okay. I'm feeling it tonight as Washington is a home underdog
tonight
of 1 and 5. They're 1 and 5. tonight at home. I've actually been inside this arena. The unique thing about this arena is the Capital One Arena. You really don't know it's there until you walk up on it. I mean, it's not sitting out in the big parking lot. It's not somewhere you go, oh, wow, look, there's an arena. It's kind of right there in the middle of everything else. It was built to kind of fit in with all the other architecture around the area in which where it is. So it's really unique arena there. So I'm going with that.
What in the world were you doing in the Capital One Center? What was that? I
saw a Journey concert there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't need
without a doubt, have been more people at that Journey concert than there will be at this flaming, steaming pile of dog poop game.
Let me tell our viewers and listeners, don't stop believing. I mean, I'm telling you.
Hold on to that feeling.
Hold on to that feeling with the Washington Wizards tonight, catching 1.5, hosting the Philadelphia 76ers, who are on a 12-game losing streak. I'll tell you this as well, Barry. It's the first arena that I saw. And of course, there wasn't a sporting event going on when I was at this concert.
Yeah.
But they had in-arena gambling kiosk. You could gamble on the game at the arena.
Yeah.
It was a Caesars
property
venue section inside of Capital One Arena. You could either go to the window and bet against a teller, or you could go to a kiosk and bet on not only the game there or any other sporting event going on. I went, wow, that's kind of cool. Go up to the kiosk and place your wager on a sporting event. Wouldn't that be unique and very cool to do here in the state of Alabama? A regulated facility to gamble on sporting events where the state could benefit from the tax revenue.
And also the state could administer it and make sure that everything's on the up and up.
But we got a bunch of knuckleheads up there on Goat Hill that are getting paid off by folks in other states or some other gambling interest that doesn't want it here, but they pass it off as, oh, it's immoral and it's, God doesn't want you to do it, blah, blah, but don't give me that. Don't give me that. I've gambled my entire life. I don't think God's keeping me out of heaven because I gambled. Leaving it at that.
Yeah. That's a fair point. God wants you to treat your fellow man a little bit better than you've been treating him. But hey,
well,
people are selectively read scripture sometimes.
Yeah.
There's something in scripture about gambling. Is there? I don't know. There's a whole lot in scripture about you not you being unfaithful. There's a whole lot in scripture about coveting your neighbor's wife and murder and all that kind of stuff.
They're playing bingos at all these rural churches, but that's okay. And there again, I don't want to get off on a religious kick, but But
the knuckleheads in Goat Hill. Just let him get started. Yep, he can get
it's
going
like,
on that.
Barry, it's kind of like the guy receiving the punt, and he points up to the sky, and I'm thinking, whoa, you're telling, hey, God, let me run this back for a touchdown? What are you saying?
Yeah. Are you asking God to take sides against the guys on the other team?
Yeah.
Hey, God, can you make the other guy fail? God,
the batter that comes up to the batter's box, and I'm thinking, so you want God to make this guy throw you one right down the middle?
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah, you want God to make this guy throw a home run ball so he gets sent to the minor leagues and never plays in the majors again. Okay. Yeah, I do wonder about that. But again, we're not going to get off on a religious rant, except for the fact that for some of you degenerates out there who are really pleading and needing and asking and hoping that the Phantom will deliver you a winner, any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Yes.
Any way you want it. If we can continue on with the journey.
Baby, just hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on and on and on. I
yeah.
I'm off on a singing tangent, but
that's exactly right.
Better, yeah. You know what? If the Phantom wins tonight, Barry, there could be a little loving, touching, and squeezing. Just saying.
And we're done. That's it. 26 minutes until the end of our live show.
Hey, you have faithfully got to follow the Phantom, okay?
Stop it. Oh, my gosh. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Let's see here. I'm doing the math. 24 minutes to the top of the hour here. Some great chats coming through. Tobias, as always, coming strong today. Froggy Hoops.
Yeah.
Foggy Hoops.
Foggy Hoops says, am I the only one who thinks the owner of the Washington Generals should sell the team and the team needs a total rebuild? I am sick of losing the Harlem Globetrotters. They're like, in 2,500 or something like that. It's been a lot of Immortan Joe, like 18 chats in the last hour. Let's sift through a couple of those. Yeah, Braves did win. Tobias, he says, fun Joel Embiid stat. Embiid was former MVP, 7 foot forward for the 76ers, really good player, but hurt all the time. He says, since Joel Embiid was drafted by Philly in 2014, Carmelo Anthony has played in more games than Embiid, despite retiring 3 years ago. Carmelo is going in the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's a lot like Zion Williamson. These guys are making a ton of money, and they have figured out the secret. You ain't got to play a lot.
No.
Even guys who are perfectly healthy, the management will give them what they call load management. Load management, where, you don't want them to be too tired and everything. Can you imagine? Can you imagine load management?
Oh.
Hey, John, you can take the next 4 shows off. We don't want you to get too tired.
Yeah, don't
John,
get too load management.
Yeah, exactly right. Can you imagine if
like
Saban
that.
ever said, I'll tell you what, we're not going to play you in this game. I know you're not hurt. Derek, you can take the day off against Mercer or whatever. We're not going to play you. Yeah, all those fans who bought that money, who spent all that money to buy tickets and everything, well, forget them. Load management.
I could just see me telling Charles Lee, Coach, I don't think I can run the scout team today. I need some load management.
Kind of worn down, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I can can run that offense against the first team defense and get my brains beat out, which I really never did. That was always a nice, neat thing. All these other guys that were on the scout team offense, they were getting their brains beat out. Me, I was just calling the signals, calling the plays, handing it off. Every now and then running something out of the ordinary just to make the defensive coordinator get mad.
John was the one who would walk over there to the running back spot out and say, "Hey man, you okay? hey coach, his eyes are going in different directions, coach." There's a little
always kind of
slobber coming out the side of his mouth. I don't know that he's going to be. That was John. I think he's done for a little while.
Yeah. Are you okay, man?
He was that guy. Yeah.
And I kind of looked over at the trainer. Hey, I think you need to come check this guy out.
Yeah, he ain't looking too good. Yeah.
One thing I always wondered about, but I never questioned, if we were playing a team that had a real speedy, athletic quarterback that ran the ball a lot, and I had to try to emulate him, we'd run a lot of plays like that, but these defensive guys never, tagged me. It was kind of like, they just kind of touched me, like you see a quarterback, in a spring game. And I went, why do they care if I get hurt? I mean, I didn't say that.
No. It's like, hey, coach, all right, we're going up against a really speedy, fast, elusive quarterback. Why don't you let Turk run the scout team?
No
run
kidding.
With the starters,
Yeah. But I'm thinking,
if that's what you're trying to prepare for, send him out.
Really? Why you got me out there? But I mean, you would think these guys would tee off on me. I'm thinking, I don't know. But I never said anything. I thought, in my mind, I'm thinking, shouldn't these guys get real game type action and like tackle the quarterback? But hey, hey, you're the coach, not me. Go for it. That's how you. That's way
whatever it takes. That's exactly
whatever it takes. No doubt about that.
Yep.
Tobias, good stuff there. Maybe one day, DraftKings, FanDuel, regulated sports wagering outfits that I'm a huge proponent of. I want it regulated. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
The state's got a lot of unregulated sports wagering going on, whether it's through unregulated apps in Costa Rica or unregulated local men taking your action. I just do not get it. But I know. Look, these holier than thou politicians, oh, no, we can't have that. Of course, the state's in the hard liquor business. We can have all that. But nope, we can't have gambling. Why? Because you got people from out of state putting money in these guys' pockets. You got religious organizations trying to shame you out of it. Oh, you don't need to do that.
There's some lobbyist groups who are getting paid a lot of money who would love for this issue to keep on going for years and years and years so they can keep pocketing those lobbying fees to make sure that this never – we're not talking about getting it. We're not talking about getting it passed. We're talking about just getting the people to vote on it.
That's what I can't figure out, Barry. How dumb do they think people in the state of Alabama are? Obviously, there again, I just don't get it. Why people continue to vote these people in office and they don't give them the opportunity to vote on something that the majority of Alabamians want. I don't get it. And they're laughing at you. They're going, sucker, I got you again.
Also, we've had people already bring this up, and this will happen soon, and it will seismically change college athletics. Everybody's talking about that. Gerad Parker made an offhand reference to it, the head coach of the Troy Trojans, when he joined us live in the first hour. That House settlement.
Yep.
Bear in mind two things. Number one, nobody really knows what the effect is going to be. I've been around coaches in all kinds of different sports, and they've been talking about it, and they don't even know. They're like, geez, I don't even know what the terms of it is. It's going to take place within the week, you would think, but there have been a couple of hiccups.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, a couple of different things. The thing right now, the federal judge, her name is Claudia Wilkin, and for some reason she's got the thing for doing it, and for some reason she's in Oakland, California. But the big holdup is not the money. Division schools may share up to 22% of their annual revenues, about $20.5 million, directly with the athletes instead of the collective. Back pay, the NCAA will pay $2.8 billion to Division I athletes who played between 2016 and 2014 who weren't entitled to the full benefits of NIL. Number 3 is roster limits. And that's the one. That's the holdup. Scholarship limits will be replaced by roster limits, which will allow every athlete to be eligible for a scholarship while cutting the number of spots available. Meaning you're not going to have any walk-ons anymore because you'll have limited numbers of scholarships. They're not going to give out roster spots to people not on scholarship. They're going to cut the number of scholarships. She does not like that. Plus, she wants that all the walk-ons who are now on teams right now when this house settlement takes place, not to get cut. That the walk-ons who are currently there will continue to stay there. So there's a couple of things out there. But that's coming up in just a little while. The lawyers have been asked to return back in 1 week with answers to those concerns. So this week and early next week will be huge.
I get the walk on. I get it. The guy's busting his tail, just wants to be a part of the team. I completely understand it. But this isn't a participation trophy. That it's totally different. The game has changed. My wife's got a cousin whose son's a walk-on at Auburn, a running back.
They do a lot. I mean, there is a lot involved. Running the scout team. They lift and work out and all that kind of stuff without very much of a prayer of ever really actually playing in a meaningful game. So there's a lot involved.
There is. It's a complex situation, to say the least. Hey, our man Brian Reynolds, he's the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail in Greenville. Always want to check in with Brian to see what's going on down at Cambrian Ridge, but it's also Masters Week, so we want to get some of his knowledge about Augusta National. Hey, Brian, how you doing today?
Hey, we're doing good, guys. Just tuning up for some pretty weather after that rain we got first part of the week, and tee sheets are filling up. People are getting that golf itch with the Masters on TV this weekend. So we got great golf courses. We've still got a little bit of room available if you're looking for a tee time. So give us a shout.
Hey, we're still maybe, a month and a half away from one of my favorite events, the Father-Son Championships down there?
That's right. It's Memorial Day weekend. Unfortunately, I don't have any spots available. That tournament with 100 teams fills up online in about 6 hours. Got a long wait list, but I don't currently have any room available to get in it. So I really can't advertise it. It's a great event, though. It's a weekend of golf for a father and son team just to spend some time together and play a great tournament down in our golf courses.
Brian, do you play that on all 3 of your 9-hole courses? How does that work?
We don't. We play 2 of the 9s. We choose the 2 that are in the best shape, which is always a hard decision because they're all 3 in great shape.
Sure.
But it's a 2-person scramble, and it's a 2-day event. It's a double shotgun. There's a morning wave, an afternoon wave. We flight after the first day, and typically there's 6 to 7 flights. And the way we pair it, typically whatever flight you're in, going into the final round, you're no more than 1 to 2 to maybe 3 shots out total. So it's a fun event. I mean, we've been running this deal for 27 years down here. Sean Curry started it when he was here back in the day. And I tell you, each year it sells out quicker and quicker. It used to take a month. It was 2 weeks, a week, 24 hours. This year it was 6 hours. So,
wow.
It's a testament to how great the event is. It's a testament to Cambrian Ridge on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the beauty of the course, the challenge of the course, and the way you guys run it. But it does not mean that you can't get a tee time down there without having to wait in line, correct?
That's right. We have days we are busy, and then we have days we aren't.
Sure.
You can check tee times at rtjgolf.com and see what's available, or you can give us a shout, and we can set you up with a time.
Yep, that telephone number, if you want to give them a shout, is 382-9787 down in Greenville, Alabama. 334-382-9787, or like Brian says, rtjgolf.com /Cambrian Ridge.
Yep, it is so easy to get a tee time or more information. We're going to run those by you before we let you get out of here. But I do want to know your thoughts about the Masters at Augusta National. Round 1 begins tomorrow morning. So, Brian, who you liking? Who's going to put the green jacket on Sunday?
Man, I think they got a little weather Monday. I think it's softened up some of those greens. They'll firm them back up some. But it looks like good weather for the rest of the week. I think we're going to see some low scores. I really do this year. The talent that's out there is unbelievable. Man, I tell you, you can't bet against Scheffler. And, man, I think Justin Thomas is due. I really do. He's playing well. He's hitting the ball good. He and Scheffler are actually together tomorrow, I think, in a pairing, if what I saw. I like Justin Thomas this week, man. I'm a big fan of JT. I think he's, I mean, for his size and the length he hits it, I've always liked watching him. And, that's my pick.
Yeah, I do too. I enjoy watching JT. If he can just avoid that bad hole or two, that seems to always bite him. He's at 22-1 to win the tournament on Sunday. So be interesting to see JT. I think he, for his career and his momentum and maybe his just psyche, I think he needs to win this tournament as well. I mean, he's won the PGA, but he's I think he needs to put another major in his pocket.
Yeah, he had a dry spell for a while where, man, he was struggling even top tens. Now he seems like he's got his game back on track. But, you know, when you got folks like Morikawa, Scheffler, McIlroy, you better bring your A game or you're not going to get there.
Yeah. One final question. Brian Reynolds, Cambrian Ridge, Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. You mentioned McIlroy. Do you subscribe to some of the opinions we've heard on this show so far? His game is looking pretty good right now, but if he doesn't win the Masters this year, he's never going to win it. Do you agree?
Man, with the talent that's behind those guys, the younger guys coming, I mean, the clock's ticking. I have to agree, but I tell you, he's another one that pound for pound, that kid hits it a mile to be his size. I mean, he's no 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guy like some of them out there, but he can launch it, man. He's got club head speed, and he's got a lot of power. But, you know, he may have a couple of years left, but he's due one, no doubt.
He's got the second best odds. Scheffler at plus 475, McIlroy at plus 625. So those are the two favorites going into the tournament beginning tomorrow. Other names that you're going to see a lot of: Colin Morikawa, John Rahm, DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Aberg. He had a big tournament last year. He's kind of up the.
What's the best odds on one of the live guys?
Rahm is 14-1.
Okay.
DeChambeau is 16-1.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
those guys are just, you know.
And
I don't knock live golf, but those guys are just out of tournament golf the way that.
Oh, sure. Hey, if you're playing in shorts, you're not playing professional golf. That just drives me crazy watching live golf. Yeah. Here's a guy Barry brought up yesterday. I saw a feature on him yesterday on Golf Channel. It got me a little interested. I paid attention. Shane Lowry at 35-1 could be a dark horse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, I like one of the stats I saw today. Well, not stat. It was a meme actually on was it Cabrera that just got out of jail, made a win? And now
he's out of an Argentinian jail and he's in
2 years. He is there. Yes.
They must have allowed him to do a little swing training there in that jail, evidently.
Well, you know, I think he won an event like on the Colombian Tour or something recently. So he's won not too long ago. So I thought the same thing. They had a feature about Cabrera on Golf Channel yesterday too. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, they let this guy play golf in the Slammer? Unbelievable.
Right. You know, that just shows that if you can leave jail and go out there and win, John, there's a chance for you and I maybe.
Yeah. No kidding. All right, Brian, man, as always, we appreciate your time. One more time for Tee Times and more information. What's that phone number for our viewers and listeners to give you a call?
Just give us a call at 382-9787.
Yep, or go by and see him, rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge. Brian, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. We'll hear tomorrow from our man Will Fisher at Capitol. He'll get his thoughts about the Masters. Barry, I know we got some topics on the wheel. Maybe got to take a break, and then we can get to that Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Let's hustle. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. All right, welcome back in. A couple of minutes to the top of the hour as we get the Victoryland 777 topic wheel loaded. Bob, I'm going to answer this question for you real quick. I think Austin Mack's going to be the odd man out. I just think that Ty Simpson will be the game one starter. Whew, and that talented freshman from Texas is going to be nipping at his heels.
I heard Ty's very solid, but the kid is coming.
Yep.
Once he figures out what in the world's going on around him, think Jamie Foxx in any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll once that kid figures out, it's going to be hard to keep him out. But game one, I'm going Ty Simpson myself.
Me too.
Here we go.
All right. Gurn's got the wheel ready to go. Let's spin it and see what's on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel on this Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's going to land on belly
flop.
Oh, it's another hockey flip.
This is Alexander Ovechkin. If we can get Ovechkin scores a goal for the Washington Capitals. He's now the all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history.
Wow.
And like Gretzky, who had the record, Gretzky broke the record set by Gordie Howe against the New York Islanders. Ovechkin broke it against the Islanders, and they did a big belly flop.
That's awesome.
That is good.
I'm a big fan of the flop, particularly in basketball.
Well, if on 4th and 31, I think I saw a couple of fans do the belly flop at that time, or fall backwards, clutching their hearts or something like that. Yeah. All right, there you go. That's a good one. That's a good start.
Yeah, I've never seen a flop in hockey. That's good.
No, that is good.
Again.
Okay. Burton.
See what we got.
Yikes.
Or what are these other topics? I'm a fan of this too. Oh yeah. Trash talking. Yeah. There's an art to it though. You got to trash talk without anybody else hearing or seeing you except the guy you're directing it towards.
Luka is ejected for talking to a fan. Luka Doncic. What? This was, again, the return of Doncic to Dallas.
Now, I think this is last night against
No,
OKC.
this is against Oklahoma City. Yeah. Doncic, Oklahoma City's all that in the West. They're the best team in the West. Lakers are playing them in OKC. A fan was riding Doncic hard, and he talked back to them, and they ejected him. Did they inject the fan? I don't think so. Yep. He may have said something profane, but the referee threw him out because of that.
Barry, if I ever get the chance to get those floor seats at a Pelicans game, which based on the way they're playing, I could probably get them for their next home game.
Yeah, they'll ask you. When can you be there?
Yeah, I think I might see if I can get thrown out.
Well, the difference is, you can't. He didn't technically get thrown out for trash talking to a fan. He already had a technical foul in the game.
Oh, okay.
But he did trash talk to the fan, don't get me wrong. But the referee threw him out because the referee thought he was talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Shared some words with the fan sitting courtside. Referee J.J. Orr, not to be confirmed with the late, great singer for the Cars, Benjamin Orr,
Rodney Orr.
Yeah, he was the same sideline as the fan Doncic was supposedly jawing at, and they teed him up because the referee thought he was cussing him out.
Let me ask you a question. What if that had been LeBron? Would they have thrown him out of the game?
I don't know. Doncic is a pretty good star. Good star.
I'm not sure LeBron would have gotten tossed.
Yeah. The fan, they talked to the fan who said during the game, within the game, I mentioned it, he was short and he missed it. And he turned around and he shot an expletive back. And the referee saw it. And the referee thought it was against him. The lead referee after the game said, yeah, he looked directly at an official and used vulgar language.
Huh.
And Doncic said, I was talking to the fan. I wasn't talking to him, which is true.
Yeah.
And so, the fans who came to watch one of the great stars of the NBA play, they got shortchanged because the referee a little bit too thin-skinned.
I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but I actually used that same line in a church league game to an official.
I did too one time.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My coach was actually in YMCA ball, Burlington, North Carolina. Was also my homeroom teacher. And my deal was, and I did get a technical. That's the only technical I've ever got in my life.
Can't believe it.
Because I said something to the referee. I was the leading scorer on my rec league team, and they kept hammering me. And I yelled at the referee, and the referee teed me up. And I said I was talking to the coach, who was actually right there with me. I wasn't, but I told the referee that he was. The referee was my age, and it didn't work. I still got the tee.
Well.
Never forget that.
All right, so I guess we might have to save these till tomorrow.
Yep.
Keep those on the wheel, Gurn.
Yep.
We'll get those tomorrow. Tomorrow, we mentioned Rodney Orr. He'll join us, the Tider Insider. Brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Jason Caldwell of Auburn Undercover will join us tomorrow. And we'll wrap things up with Bart Heisch. With basketball season wrapping up in the national championship game on Monday, we'll get his final thoughts about this year in college basketball and where things are headed for next season.
Much appreciation today for the time from Troy head football coach Gerad Parker previewing the T-Day game, which is Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Vet. CJ Duncan from Yellowhammer News as well. Very, very, very good work from our producer, Gurn Jr. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.